Hi, hi there. Let's talk about the history of Blaccent, and this is purely coming from me who has a background in multicultural studies, Black history, Black community, Black studies. So I'm just going to jump right in and preface this by saying, after researching, I find the history of these two women both to be problematic in different ways. But I first want to provide a definition of cultural appropriation. Cultural appropriation is when you can scrub off the tan, take out the extensions, deflate the lips, wash away the accent, and rebrand yourself after making millions and billions of dollars off the backs of Black people. There has been so many articles, and I'll leave them here for y'all to see. This one written by CNN that talks about, this one was about Aquafina, but that talks about the history of Blaccent and what it's like. And I want to start with Alabama. I'm going to be using their names. She is extreme cultural appropriation, culture vulture to a T. And it doesn't surprise me because the Kardashians also have a long history of doing this. First of all, she doesn't talk like that. She was born in Calabasas. She had tons of money growing up. She's not from the quote unquote hood or ghetto. She specifically adopted this Blaccent, and it's not from a learned environment. It was adopted to exploit and make money off of Black culture, to be cool, to use Black people as accessories and be cool. And it's giving very much. So, Miss Alabama is very much giving. I had so many analogies, but it's just giving. Girl, stop. Stop before it gets too late. Stop before you have nowhere else to turn to. Stop. Just be your authentic self. Just please, I beg, stop. Get a hold of it. Rebrand. There are so many other things that you could do besides trying to exploit culture, having an accent, having this caricature and personality. This is just, it's not good. Okay, gone to Miss Danielle. So with Miss Danielle, I try to do a lot of research. I remember her being on Dr. Phil, but we're not here to talk about this. But she was born in Boynton Beach, California, and I tried to find some information about the city, and it's kind of a big city, and it there is like evidence that this city has some rough areas. Um, and things of that nature. But I couldn't specifically find where she grew up, and the percentages of, and there was like videos about her mom saying she grew up middle class, whatever. Like even if she grew up middle class and it was in a rough part area, that it would still be that she was a product of her area. And so I tried to find information about her, and honestly, I found that 33.9% of the residents are Black, which doesn't really attribute to whether or not it's a truly ghetto area or not. But I will say that from the past, like some articles that have been written about her is her using the N word and her also culturally appropriating Black culture in her speech. And I'll have to say this, we know for sure that Alabama's Blaccent was learned. It seems like Danielle has been speaking this way because it was a learn from her environment, not in a way where Alabama's accent was learned just to exploit. So if Miss Danielle really speaks like this, it could be a product from her environment. And she did issue a statement apologizing for her using the N word in the past. But she did say something about cultural appropriation versus appreciation. And I want to highlight here that cultural appropriation is any way that you are using the culture to make money and without acknowledging it. It has nothing to do with saying, oh, braids are ugly and then you go get braids. No, it has everything to do with why, if this is not your true authentic self, why are you tanning your skin? Why are you speaking the way that you're speaking, and it's not code switching. Code switching is a survival tool used by BIPOC communities. For example, if I all of a sudden spoke like I was from India with an Indian accent, everybody would come at me like, girl, what's wrong with you? Now, if I was born in India and I developed an Indian accent and that was my true authentic self, then the terms code switching and things like that would apply. But these things do not apply to any of these women. They are not applicable to code switch at any cost. If that's Danielle's true accent, then so be it. Lastly, I want to point out that this is not new. Ariana Grande, and I know she sung well in Wicked. She's been great. But she was questioned about her Blaccent and exploitation of Black culture and how she made this dramatic shift to Glinda. And I want to point out that she herself admitted that her Blaccent was a characterized version of herself. Um, and and her Glinda character is more herself. And Ariana Grande was problematic. I'm not going to say Seven Rings wasn't a great song. It was, but that time period when she was self-tanning and speaking the way she was speaking, that is what I mean by exploitation of culture that is not your own, that you specifically learn to exploit people. And I'll just leave it there. I'll be following this story, catching up with it, see how it goes. Until next time.